What's going on, YouTube? I just wanted to I was really doing another video, but I got a little distracted with this nerve gorilla guy. And so it got me start looking more into schizophrenia. And you want to know what's weird is really, there's no definitive proof that this exists. It's really only the word of quote unquote so-called experts. Let me see. Can doctors prove schizophrenia? There's no single test for schizophrenia, and the condition is usually diagnosed after assessment by a specialist in mental health. The condition is usually diagnosed after assessment by a specialist in mental health. So, but we're going to dig deeper into this. We're going to dig a little deeper into this. We're going to dig a little deeper into this because, as I stated, for real, I said this in one of my previous lives. A lot of these quote unquote mental health illnesses that they slap around really cannot be proven, like such other diseases. So they label mental health illnesses as diseases. Most diseases can be proven on a molecular level, or with DNA, do, during a DNA sequence or some sort of, if you understand what I'm hinting at. So when you really starting to break down and ask questions far as is how do they even determine one is diagnosed with schizophrenia? And it's just a whole lot of jargon they're using, a whole lot of, in my opinion, gaslighting. Because, like I said, there's no test that could be done to definitively prove that schizophrenia it's real. And this is not misinformation or medical misinformation, because I'm going to provide a couple of receipts, articles, and topics on the situation. Let me reorganize my windows right quick, because I'm currently working on a couple of content videos, so I don't want those videos. I don't want to accidentally open up those windows in relations to something else. The more you dig into it, can doctors prove schizophrenia? As I read before, there's no single test for schizophrenia, and the condition is usually diagnosed after assessment by a specialist in mental health. If you are concerned you may be developing symptoms of schizophrenia, see a GP as soon as possible. Let's dig deeper. So these are the symptoms. Just listen to it, bro. It's all bullshit, bro. It's all utter bullshit. When you really read into it, it's all bullshit. It's just some quote unquote specialist or expert giving you their opinion on if you have it or not. There's no definitive proof proving schizophrenia is real. Let me repeat that. There's no concrete evidence that suggests, in my humble opinion, that schizophrenia is real. You read a lot of conflicting, there's a lot of conflicting articles and, things up here that contradicts itself. For instance, at least one of the symptoms must be delusions, hallucinations. How do they determine if there's a delusion with the claims of being organized thought? How could they determine a delusion, hallucinations? How could they even determine that? Or disorganized speech? Really? In determining a diagnosis, the doctor may order additional tests, including an MRI scan or a blood test. But when you get back to it, now speaking on it, see, this is why I said, bro, it's so many conflicting things. They sit up here and say that schizophrenia is real when there's actually no definitive proof proving that schizophrenia is real. When you get to really researching it, it's really solely based on a quote unquote expert saying that you have this mental illness. Notice that they name these things diseases, with the most common diseases from measles to HIV to chlamydia to syphilis. We can all determine that these are real based on like tests, DNA tests, and things of this nature. When it comes to schizophrenia, it's literally someone else's word saying, well, yeah, you have it because of this, that, and the third. Schizophrenia cannot be proven. Everything about schizophrenia, in my humble opinion, is a scam. Everything about it contradicts itself. Just like when you go to researching and Googling, this is why I said I don't trust the medical field. It says there's no single test for schizophrenia. The condition is usually diagnosed after assessment by a specialist in mental health. So it's telling you there's no single test for this, right? If you are concerned, you may be developing symptoms of schizophrenia, see a GP as soon as possible. But now, when you go down here, how do doctors confirm schizophrenia? At least one of the symptoms must be delusions. So basically, they're saying that they're just, in my humble opinion, how I'm taking it is that they're gaslighting you. If you say that you're being followed by multiple people, then the expert could say that where you're delusional if you think that. It's no definitive proof to say that I'm delusional because I say that I believe I'm being followed by multiple people. Then it speaks on hallucinations or disorganized speech. When you go down a little further, it even say, including, it said the doctor may order additional tests, including an MRI scan or a blood test. But when you really research it, they tell you that you can't even really determine it based on the MRI either. And I'm going to show you that too. I'm just going to show you this. Now, I say studies of people with schizophrenia have shown there are subtle differences in the structure of their brain. These changes are not seen in everyone with schizophrenia and can occur in people who do not have a mental illness. So right there, that's a contradictory within itself. Now, if they're telling me that they could tell by an MRI if a person has schizophrenia or not. And then on the other hand, they say these changes are not seen in everyone with schizophrenia and can occur in people who do not have mental illnesses. So they're saying that, let's say, hypothetically speaking, they give me an MRI and they say that, okay, yeah, well, you have schizophrenia based on your MRI. But on the same accords, they're telling you that these people brain MRI scan could look similar to mine, and they don't have schizophrenia. So how do that work? How do they pick and choose? So both our MRIs could look the exact same, but they could say, well, you got schizophrenia. But although this person brains look like yours, the scans show that it looked like yours, they do not have a mental illness. So how do they select which one of the two have schizophrenia if both MRIs is showing the same exact thing? But they suggest schizophrenia may partly be a disorder of the brain. As I stated, if that's the case, it says it here. There are subtle differences in the structure of their brain. These changes are not seen in everyone with schizophrenia and can occur in people who do not have a mental illness. Everything they say about schizophrenia is just coming from the words of a so called specialist. There's no definitive proof that schizophrenia is a real thing. There's no proof. So I don't know why Nerve Gorilla think that he could read a paper from Oxford and think that that's the end all be all when you have things like this contradicting the very foundation that it was built on. This do not make sense at all. Scientifically speaking, there is a broad spectrum of closely related diagnoses in which psychotic symptoms can occur, yet the number of people diagnosed with schizophrenia is much smaller. Of this minority, a small number of people do not recover and permanently experience serious suffering. But as I state, the more you dig into it, they're letting you know there's no definitive proof to prove that schizophrenia is a real thing. It's if schizophrenia was a real thing and one of their main tools of discovering whether a person have it or not is giving them an MRI scan, and they're saying that the structure of their brain will show a differences. And then they go on to say that these changes are not seen in everyone with schizophrenia. So you can't rely on an MRI. If you're telling me that the sole purpose of diagnosing someone is through a brain scan, and then you're telling me that there's some people who schizophrenia, but their brain don't show it, and then there's some people who don't have no mental illnesses, but their brain look like someone's who was diagnosed with schizophrenia. How the fuck do that make sense? Am I the only one who's understanding how nonsense that is? That makes absolutely no sense. This is why I said the medical field is the most dangerous field, because it's one big Ponzi scheme. If y'all were to even go and look up the history of psychology, do y'all know the history of psychology was based on them really like real life torturing people to see what the effects was going to do to them mentally. So in order to determine how your pain receptors or how torture would be, if they was to take a person and so in order for them to figure out how this would affect a person mentally, they had to perform these acts on a person numerous of times. So in the theory of science, they do what they call the hypotheses. So they would do like the best out of five and go with the just like the NBA playoffs. So if they do the test and the test come back 3-2, then they're gonna go with the three versus going with the two and say, well, yeah, schizophrenia is determined this way, even though two times it showed that it didn't work. It's the same fucking Ponzi scheme when it comes to mental illness. There's no blood work to determine this. So now what you're going to see is articles like this saying that it's a gene. Let me see. Now, so what you're going to see is them coming out with articles like this saying that it's a gene in certain people. Cause of schizophrenia found in genes, new researcher claims. So, but before this new researcher claimed that you could find out who's schizophrenia by the genes, and they say that this gene is what? MHC has hundreds of genes, most of which contribute to the immune system. McCarroll told on the coast, host Stephen Quinn, adding there had been hints immune system genes were connected to schizophrenia, but it was unclear which ones. So for a while, people assumed that this genetic signal was pointing to some virus or critter or something like that that somehow gets into the brain. He said McCarroll said a student in his lab examined available data in a new way and found a molecule connected to the immune system had a second job. It guides the wiring of the brain at certain key times by eliminating certain underutilized synapses, connections between nerve cells of the brain. One of those key times occurs during the teenage years and the early 20s when people go through pruning of synapses. This is also the age when schizophrenia emerged in most people with the disorder. Okay, so now you see what they're saying because back before this targeting started and this mental health thing became a trend, and they're using this to, to boost up the medical field. They were saying that schizophrenia really don't happen in people past the age of 20 or 25, they said. So now what we have now is 60 people 40 years up, people who's 50 years plus, 60 years plus. They're diagnosing these people with schizophrenia. So they're contradicting their own science. They're literally contradicting their own science. And it brings me back to this very thing right here. It brings me back to this because you got them on one hand saying that it could be determined by an MRI. And then you're telling me that, so if you could detect it during the MRI, why is it that some people brain would resemble a schizophrenia, phrenics, but they won't have no mental illness? You cannot make that shit make sense. So you have them being selective on who brain looks like this, and by them saying, well, this person has schizophrenia, based on their beliefs, is really based on your belief system. So if I was a person who brain looked it like it was schizophrenic and your brain looked it like it came from a person with a schizophrenic, how they would determine which one of us is a schizophrenic and have a mental illness is solely based on my beliefs. So if I say that I believe that I'm a target of electronic torture and harassment, okay, so now we know which one of y'all is a schizophrenic. Even though both of y'all MRIs look exactly alike, we're gonna judge you as the schizophrenic because you're displaying signs of delusion by saying that you're being followed by multiple people. That's exactly what the fuck this is saying. Schizophrenia cannot be proven. Those are facts. Those are facts. So for people like Nerve Gorilla to go and pull an article from like Oxford or some shit like that, and they say that, see, what it is a campaign. What they're really doing is countering targeted individuals. What they're doing is, I just was looking at one of Nerve Gorilla videos, and these people are really studying us. What these people are doing is coming to the TI community, seeing what evidence we're posting, and then they're taking it back and doing studies on it. They got websites built on targeted individuals, saying that targeted individuals are mentally ill based on the footage that we're providing on social media. This is true shit. This is the campaign and the war that they're raging against us, all to keep what they're doing to targeted individuals swept under the rug. When you really start peeling back the layers of this schizophrenic shit, it's no way to determine if a person has schizophrenia or not. Those are facts. It's one big fucking Ponzi scheme. It's one Ponzi scheme. What scientific proof that schizophrenia is real? Studies of people with schizophrenic has shown there are subtle differences in the structure of their brains. These changes are not seen in everyone with schizophrenia. So now you have, one would have to ask themselves, if they're saying that we could tell who's a schizophrenic by the structure of their brain, then how is it that these changes are not seen in everyone with schizophrenia? So how could you use an MRI or a brain scan to say that anyone is schizophrenic if you're now saying that everyone with schizophrenic is not going to show the same brain patterns? So y'all are really, they're fishing. What they're doing is fishing. They're adjusting the science to fit their narrative to debunk the shit that targeted individuals is claiming to be going through. These are facts. This is what these people doing. Their own science, their own mouth. Is schizophrenia a proven science? Scientifically speaking, there's a broad spectrum of closely related diagnoses in which psychotic symptoms can occur. Yet the number of people diagnosed with schizophrenia is much smaller of its this minority. A small number of people do not recover and permanently experience it. Now, when you go back to this, what is let's just I'm just clicking on this. So this is me freestyling. I'm just looking at this now. It said there are three primary biological explanations for schizophrenics. It's genetics, it's neural correlations, and it's the dopamine hypothesis. Now, it's the dopamine hypothesis. When you dig into what a hypothesis is, right? When you dig into this, let's just see. Hypothesis, definition. Now, you see what I'm saying, though? You see what I'm saying? This is not even concrete proof. They're using words like hypothesis as if that makes it valid or true or not. That doesn't. A proposed explanation made on the basis of limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation. So when you see shit like this, the dopamine hypothesis, the dopamine, that's nothing. They're literally trying to mash some shit together and come up with something. This is not proof. The three primary biological explanations, how could they say a dopamine hypothesis when it's not even finalized? So right now, this is just a working theory that they're doing. This is not evidence of schizophrenia. They cannot provide evidence that schizophrenia is legit a real thing. They can't. There's no proof that schizophrenia is a real thing. Absolutely none. What are the proof of schizophrenia? Delusions. I told y'all. See, here you go. I told y'all. False beliefs that the person won't give up. How would they, bro? So you mean to tell me, you see what I'm saying? They're attacking a person based on their beliefs. That's just like me attacking a person on their religious beliefs. So if you believe in the Torah, you believe in Buddhism, I believe in Christianity, then everybody could point the finger at each other and say you're fucking schizophrenic based on your beliefs. It's based on your belief system that they're labeling us a schizophrenic. Do you see what I'm saying? Who understands what I'm saying? This is the biggest fucking fraud known to fucking man right now. They're telling you right now delusions, false beliefs that the person won't give up, even when they get proof that they're not true. Hearing or seeing things that aren't there. Disorganized speech and behavior. See, now when you see this disorganized speech and behavior, we know that how the technology used against us could slur our speech, doing things like that, giving us brain fog. So it's saying like that we can't get our words together, we lose train of thought and behavior. This is what I mean by that, because they put us in a situation to display this erratic behavior by pulling out our phone, putting it in people's face, documenting and doing this and doing that because it seemed weird, and it's easily to flip the script on that to be like, you're the weirdo, bro. Why do you got this camera in my face? Here it is. I'm just walking, minding my business, but it's all gaslight. It's all reverse psychology. It's all psychological attacks because just like hypothetically say that this person is participating in gang stalking or your organized harassment and stalking. It's so easy for them to gaslight you because you look like the weirdo with erratic, irrational behavior by pointing the phone at them and recording a complete stranger. Because to the world, how they will see it is you're in the wrong. You're recording what the world would perceive as a stranger. So they could be color coded down. They could walk past you, do all the signs that they do, cough soon as they get past you, touch their hair, rub their nose, be draped in all red. They could do all of this thing. Now, us as a target individual know exactly what that is. But to the person who's unaware on how these psychological tactics is waged against us, it will look like erratic behavior. But my whole premise or what I'm getting at is when you really start digging down, like how do they prove schizophrenia is real? It's a whole bunch of jargon and a whole bunch of bullshit. They have no way of proving that schizophrenia is real. Even in one article, it's basically up to the mental health specialist to determine if you have it or not. So really, you got to go in front of a motherfucker who they say is an expert. You have to let them evaluate you. And at the end of the evaluation, that person says, well, yeah, you have schizophrenia. That's diagnosing someone. It's no definitive proof. It's just a weird ass stranger who's working for the system saying, yeah, you got it, with no proof. Because my belief system is different from your belief system, because I know that I'm being followed, but you don't want me to believe that I'm being followed. How could you tell me that no one is following me? Like you're with me 24/7 a day. That's the gaslighting shit right there. How the fuck could you tell me that? How could you tell me that? Give me an answer on that. How could you tell me that no one is following me? Do you be with me? I mean, you're a therapist. I just came to see you for the first time today. You gave assessment, you evaluated, you diagnosed me as mental illness, but you're saying on the whole premise of my beliefs. So if I believe that I'm being followed by multiple people and I'm being organized, stalked, and harassed, you're going to tell me that I'm delusional, or you're going to go against my beliefs when really you're not there to witness it. You cannot make this shit up. It's literally all mind games. There's no proof. There's nothing concrete that says that schizophrenia is a real thing. Those are facts. Let's dig deep. Can doctors, let's click on this one. I don't know what it's going to say, but I want to see. The diagnosis will usually need to be confirmed by a psychiatrist who can advise on the best treatment options. To diagnose schizophrenia, the symptoms need to be present for 6 months or more. So this is the whole, see, so this is the thing right here. This is how they're doing it. You see, everything that you read around here is based on another motherfucking opinion, someone who don't know you. So if I say that I've been being followed for 7 months, the psychiatrist is gonna say, okay, so it's been going on for 7 months, because in the book right here, they say that if the symptoms persist more than 6 months. So if I say that, yeah, I've been organized stalk for a year, that's double the 6 months. So the psychiatrist, by law or by book or whatever it is they go with, this is the foundation that they go with for 6 months or more. You're automatically classified as a schizophrenic based on this premises alone. That's a fucking pyramid scheme. How is that real? How is that legit? How is that legit? How do that make sense? It makes absolutely no sense. The psychiatrist don't know. He's not with you for the whole year. He's not with you for 6 months to witness the shit, to witness you being followed, to watch your predictions and watch this go out. It's all a crock of bullshit. It is. There's no DNA test that could be done to prove that you have schizophrenic. There's no genes that could be detected that say that you have schizophrenia. There's no MRI that they could do with 100% certainty and say that you have schizophrenia. If there was, and they're telling you that an MRI would tell you that, then how is it that right here it contradicts everything they're saying? I know I'm comprehending this paragraph right. Studies of people with schizophrenia have shown there are subtle differences in the structure of their brains. These changes are not seen in everyone with schizophrenia. So why would they even include that? Why would they say that you could tell that I'm a schizophrenic by the structure of my brain and say, well, you know what? It's not present in everybody who have schizophrenia. And then they go around and say that even people with no mental illnesses, their brain structure could look just like someone with schizophrenia, and they don't have it. That's make this whole paragraph is contradictory to itself. But they suggest schizophrenia may partly be a disorder in the brain. It may partly be. That's not 100%. It can't be partly be if you're saying that Bro, I know it's not me. How could it partly be a disorder in the brain when y'all saying that the structure of the brain could look like this in the schizophrenia, but that same structure could also look like that in a person that don't have mental illness? So how do you determine which one of us have schizophrenia if both of our brain scans could look alike? How would you be able to determine? You want to know how? Because they want to talk to you. They want to find out what your belief system is. What do you believe is going on with you? Huh? Do you feel as though there's someone trying to harm you? That's why they ask questions like that. Do you think, are you having thoughts of harming yourself? Do you think that people are following you? Well, how long have you been feeling like that? People following you because they're going off a 6 month category. Off a 6 month time period. It's all bullshit. It's mind games. It's all bullshit. There are three primary biological explanations for schizophrenia. They say genetics, when they're not even sure about that. They're not sure about that. Neural correlations, they're not sure about that. And then the dopamine hypotheses, exactly what it says it is. It's just a hypothesis. It's not concrete. It's not valid. They can't go with this theory. They can't come into court and say, yeah, well, this person is, schizophrenic because of the level of dopamine we found secreting from their brain. They can't say this because it's a working hypothesis. It's something that they haven't figured out yet. Am I the only one who's understanding this shit? This is crazy. There's no way to prove if someone has schizophrenia. Those are facts. How would biological psychology explain schizophrenia? What's going on inside of the body to cause schizophrenia? I just want to see what they say. These chemicals are thought to include dopamine, which helps to carry messages between brain cells. Show research suggests that an imbalance between certain neurotransmitters, including dopamine and serotonin, may be one of the causes behind schizophrenia. You see, this is more bullshit because it's uncertain. It said, including dopamine and serotonin, may be one of the causes behind schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is telling you that it may be. Notice, it's not saying that including dopamine and serotonin, it is one of the causes behind schizophrenia. By them saying may, that's like saying it may be or it may not be. That's exactly what they're saying. They don't know. They're literally out here molding the science to fit their fucking narrative to discredit people who's coming forward with targeted individual evidence. This is exactly what's going on. All you have to do is pay attention to the words that they're using. That's facts. Because it may be. So the sentence would have been the same if they said maybe or maybe not one of the causes. See, but they left maybe not out. So it could sound more legit. It may be one of the causes behind schizophrenia, but they could finish that by saying, and it may not be. But they didn't include that. Why is that? That is crazy. That's crazy. I told y'all that though. See, and I'm telling you, I'm just clicking on this as I go. I told y'all right here, it says it. There aren't any tests for it. There's no test to prove that schizophrenia is a real thing. There's after duh, that makes sense because you're telling me it's a mental disorder. It's a mental disorder. There's no blood work to confirm that schizophrenia is what you label a disease, like it is with HIV, cancer, syphilis, and so on and so forth. You could do blood work to determine if a person has this, that, and the third. It's going to show up. You know what type of genes to look for. You know what type of everything to look for. But when it comes to mental health, they could slap any label on you and gaslight you into thinking that this is what it is and this is what it isn't. It said to be diagnosed with schizophrenia, a person must experience at least two symptoms regularly for at least 6 months. So do y'all see the games that they're playing with this schizophrenia shit? So if you're a targeted individual and you're being stalked, harassed, electronically tortured for more than 6 months and you come out and speak with it, they're going to automatically label you as schizophrenia because of your beliefs. And they're saying that it's all in your head, but it's solely based on your beliefs and beliefs alone, because they kicking it to you like what you're saying just doesn't happen. That's just a weird thing to even believe. What is your belief system rooted in? Why do you think that you're being electronically tortured? Why do you think that you're being stalked, organized stalk everywhere you go? So if you say that this has been going on for 6 months, so I see why the going into the hospitals that they say this. Why going into the hospitals, they ask you those questions. Well, how long have you been feeling like this? Because they know by the books and by the case studies that they read, that is a 6 month limit on it. It's a 6 month gateway. So if you say anything over where it's been going on for 6 months, then ding, 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 you already decide yourself up to be labeled a schizophrenic. This is crazy. It's a Pisces scheme. What is the most accurate test for schizophrenia? The Clinical Global Impression Schizophrenia, CGI, or SCH, was designed to assess positive, negative, depressive, and cognitive symptoms of schizophrenia. Research suggests that GSK is a valid and reliable questionnaire to evaluate severity of the treatment. Another bullshit, more bullshit. Can blood work detect it? Let's see. At this present, there is no blood test that could. I know it's not, niggas. I know it's not. It's all mind games. It's all mind games. Of course there isn't. So you mean to tell me we're at the point in the world where we're allowing a stranger to tell us that we're mentally ill based on our belief systems or what we know? Get the fuck out of here. They can't fast talk me like that, bro. They can't. A mental health professional, such as a psychiatrist, will typically diagnose the condition after carefully reviewing a person's symptoms and medical history to determine whether schizophrenia is likely. Do you see this? Do you see this? Once you really start to read it and understand what's going on, you can see that this is all a load of crock of shit. This is just more ways to fund, to discredit people, to institutionalize people, to pump them for the site. It's the revolving door. It's helping feed everything. So not only could this be used to cover crime, it could be used to keep funding the psychiatric ward. And not only that, Big Pharma is also in the loops and making hella money off of it because they're prescribing you the psychotropic drugs that's needed to sedate a schizophrenic that can't even be proven. There's no way to prove a person is a schizophrenic. The only way that they're saying that you're a schizophrenic is solely by your belief system and your belief system alone. Those are facts. See, see, this goes to show that it's all a Ponzi scheme. Because with the V2K, we all know that the voice of God technology is real. We all know that they have patents for it. We all know that it was used in Desert Storm to get the enemy troops to lay down their weapons by us beaming what they thought was the voice of Allah in their head, telling them to put down their weapons. These are all facts. It's all easily researchable. So for them to create this technology, all of this technology that they're using on us is to mimic these medical issues. A lot of people say that they have the panic attacks, the anxiety, but this technology that's being used against us mimic that. Just like the V2K, the voice of God, it mimics mental illness because you're saying that you hear voices in your head, which is directly linked to schizophrenia. Isn't that fucking convenient for the medical field, right? Isn't it? how schizophrenia can't be proven. There's no blood work that determine if you have it. It's solely based on your beliefs. And if you say that you've been experiencing something for more than 6 fucking months, but Nerve Gorilla would go and read a fucking article from Oxford and say, you see what this professor said? It's real. You guys are delusional. It's crazy. It's all in your head. When really, technically speaking, you can't even prove that schizophrenia is a real thing. The only way that it is now is because the health field controls all of this. And if you speak out against it, it's medical misinformation. This is not medical misinformation. I've been saying that there's no blood work to determine any type of mental illness because it's mental. It's all in the mind. How the fuck you gonna say that you could diagnose me with something that's in my mind? That makes no fucking sense. How would you be able to 100% with 100% certainty diagnose anyone with a mental illness? You can't. You can't. It's mostly just schizophrenia. See, this is what I'm saying. The technology that's being used on us is it causes all of these symptoms. It literally it literally mimics all of this: lack of emotional expression, difficulty with abstract thinking, extremely disorganized or chaotic behavior, emotional withdrawal. Let me see, overly excited, concentration or memory problems. This technology literally mimics all of this. They're getting over. They're really getting over on us. Antipsychotics that have been used to treat schizophrenia for years. This is why I said this is all from the medical mafia. That's exactly what's going on. They're creating patients just like they're doing with us in real life. They feed us bad food. They let restaurants such as McDonald's serve us cancer causing foods. Why would that be a thing in the United States? Just so Big Pharma could come in, clean up, and have us as a patient, have us as a lifetime customer. Make it make sense. So you mean to tell us the FDA approved this restaurant to sell these food with cancer-causing chemicals, as if a burger wouldn't be a burger without the chemicals, the cancer-causing chemicals in it. So I can't just go out here and slaughter a bull who don't have none of that chemicals in it, grind up the meat, and make me a nice, healthy hamburger. Y'all have to take this same cow, take the same meat that y'all grind up, and pump it full of cancer causes chemicals just to infect us and get us sick. So we could be victims of big pharma. So we could be customers and consumers. Once you really start to think about it on a logical level, it don't make sense. They sell us everything with it. Fluoride, everything has fluoride in it. They sell us hand soap with cancer causing ingredients in it. I mean, everything is contaminated. Now we have to deal with the water in the plastic bottles with the micro nanoparticles in it. I mean, the forever chemicals that's in our water supply and the tap water. So if they was really so concerned about us, why are they still pumping these dangerous chemicals in everything that we consume, in the air that we breathe? Because it's all a fucking scam. The medical field is the biggest fucking Ponzi scheme in the goddamn world. This is why they threw away holistic healing and things of that nature. This is why they did away with it. Burnt all the books, killed Dr. Sabby, people who was preaching that. Yakita Awaken is next. This is why, bro. This is why, because we're stuck in this whole, bro, it's weird. It's really weird once you really start to look at it and just think about it. Why would the FDA, the people, the USDA, the FDA, all these people who approve the food for us to consume and eat on a daily basis, continue to let places like McDonald's and all these other fast food chains who use pig slime to come up with fake meat, pig slime to create hot dogs and crab meat and things of this sources. when they know that all of this shit is detrimental to our health, but they allow us to consume it. They sell it to us. They take all of the fruit, the vegetables, everything is GMO, everything is getting sprayed down with chemicals. You got Bill Gates with this fuck. I showed y'all on my wall a few months ago. There was peaches that we bought from Walmart. A peach was left in the refrigerator for over 2 months. I poured the peach out of the refrigerator, and this peach looked like it was just plucked off the most beautifulest fucking tree. I'm talking about straight from the Garden of Eve. So it's like all of this shit, the medical field, all of that shit is one big Ponzi scheme to keep fueling big pharma and to keep us sick, docile, and lifetime customers. That's all it is. That's all it is. Schizophrenia is fake. They could slap me with medical misinformation all they want, but going off of what they say, there's no way to 100% say that someone has schizophrenia. There's nothing to prove that anyone have schizophrenia. The only thing that they go off is what the so-called psychiatrist said. And like I told y'all, if y'all go back and look at this documentary called the documentary of psychology, or how psychology was started, they were doing the most evilest shit to people. I'm talking about torturing them, pulling off the fingernails, starving people to see how their body would break down and react to it. This is how they know what would affect the human to which cause. They would actually cause the problems, then try to fix it. They would severely torture people, then try to fix the problem, starving people to see how long it could take for a human to survive without water. This is the shit that they was doing. Go look at the documentary and see all of the horrific shit that they was doing. I'm talking about murdering people just in the name of science to get results, and so they could come up to us now and then and say, well, you know, if the human go 7 days without water, this is what happened. That's because back in the day, the motherfucker was really holding motherfucker hostages without giving them water just to see the effects that it was gonna have on the body. Then after that person died, they go to their book and write down, yeah, well, this patient as this. That'll do that. That's what they do with the hypotheses. So they'll take 5 subjects and do the same thing to the 5 subjects. So if 4 subjects died of the same way after the 7 days was over, then that's the theory that they're running with. One person probably could survive, but they know that the chances of the vast majority of people surviving doing it is slim to none, because 4 out of the 5 have already died. Yeah, there was one survivor. So now we can say there's a small chance that you could survive. And we know this because when we was running the test back in the 1800s, only one person survived. So there's a small percentile, a small chance that you can survive. But for the most part, they know at what ratio it's gonna kill a person, bro. All this shit is evil and it's calculated to a T. When y'all start really digging into schizophrenia, how do we know it's real? How is a person diagnosed? What do they look for when they're diagnosing a person with schizophrenia? It's telling you, bro. It's literally telling you that we're just going off this psychiatrist's word, basically. There's no gene to prove it. The dopamine theory is just a hypothesis that they're currently trying to link into it right now. There's no concrete evidence that schizophrenia is real. Those are facts. Those are facts. All this shit is a Ponzi scheme. Everything that these people do is a fucking Ponzi scheme, and they hope that we're not smart enough to figure this shit out. They dealing with the wrong nigga, because I'm gonna go read and I'm gonna catch them up on that shit. Everything. You could click on anything about it. Let's click on another one. Let's click on another one. Let's see. I don't even know this. Is it abstract background? Schizophrenia patients are typically found to have low IQ, both pre and post onset in comparison to the general population. However, a subgroup of patients display above average IQs. And these are what you would call targeted individuals. I'm gonna go ahead and read it to the last for you, because targeted individuals, the vast majority of them are targeted because they have a high intellect. We're able to see what the vast majority of the world don't see. So what is gang stalking to us is gang stalking to the world, but they're too dumb to see it. Their IQ is too low to understand psychological warfare, the tactics that they're using. They're too dumb to understand what synchronicity is. They're dumb. They don't pick up on these things naturally. They just don't. Literally, they don't. Let's see if we could find some more. I'm just clicking on random stuff. Let's see what this saying right here. Oh, we all gotta love the John Hopkins, right? John Hopkins, the same people who held Event 201, who was talking about COVID before COVID was a thing. All coincidentally, right? Yeah, let's trust John Hopkins, right? Oh, John Hopkins. We could rely on them to tell the truth. In a study using brain tissue from deceased human donors, John Hopkins Medicine research says they found new evidence that schizophrenia can be marked by the buildup of abnormal proteins similar to those found in the brains of people with such neurodegenerative disorders as Alzheimer's and Huntington's disease. Schizophrenia, the specific cause of which remains generally unknown but is believed to be a combination of genes and environment, is a disabling mental disorder marked by jumbled thinking, feeling, and behavior. Is a disabling mental disorder marked by jumbled thinking, feeling, and behavior, as well as delusions or hallucinations, striking an estimated 200,000 people in the United States each year. Its symptoms may be eased with antipsychotic medications, but the drugs don't work for everyone. Rather than rely on categorizing by symptoms, researchers have long sought, hold on, let me scroll down, long sought to better classify types of schizophrenia, such as those in which abnormal proteins appear to accumulate, as a potential way to improve and tailor therapies as precision medicine. The researchers aren't sure how common these variations of the disorder is, although they find it in about half of the brain samples analyzed. New findings were published. The brain only has so many ways to handle abnormal proteins. The leader of the study and an assistant professor of psychiatric and behavior science at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine with schizophrenia, the end process in mental and behavioral and doesn't cause the pronounced physical neural cell death we see with neurodegenerative diseases, but there are clearly some overall biological similarities. Let's see, are they going to dive into those? Based on their experience with schizophrenia and neurodegenerative um, disorders, nuciforma, 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 Nucifora. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it first time ever even just saying that word. And his team wanted to determine in the future the schizophrenia brains that are also seen in the brains of patients with Alzheimer's disease or other illnesses. See, it's easy to do this though, because when you get back into looking at this research, see, because they really think they slick though. When you really get back into Havana syndrome and how it started, when they looking into the diplomats in Cuba, Havana, where it started, right? When they were saying that they were being pulsed in their brain, this is the same thing that I'm saying. So really, when they hit a person in the brain, it really alters the structure of a person's brain. Like say for instance, a lot of these patients and diplomats who were being pulsed in the brain with these weapons. Let me click on the article so y'all can see. And I'm gonna pull up the article where I can show y'all that it's even stating this though. It changed the biology of their brain. So to a person who never, y'all might have heard me said that this is where I learned it from though. This article, following up on it and reading it, people who get targeted and hit in the head with these acoustic weapons, when we're getting this loud tinnitus, what it do is it causes concussion-like symptoms. So you know know that when you go to the doctor and get an MRI or a CAT scan or whatever or whatnot, they could scan and look at your brain and see if you ever had any type of brain damage, if you had concussions in your life or anything, because it's going to alter your brain. Certain spots in your brain is going to show up white on the CAT scan and so on and so forth. So y'all can really look into that. So what they're doing is creating all of the conditions for you to fit the description of being a schizophrenia. So what they're, bro, it's so elaborate what they're doing. So first, they're able to injure your brain with these acoustic and sonic weapons and it's Savannah syndrome, right? Then what they do is fucking with your speech, with your brain, with your cognitive motors and function by constantly radiating your brain. Bro, do you really see what they're doing? This is a real life Ponzi fucking scheme. So they're creating symptoms and mental patients, people who are 100% okay in their mind, their physical, and everything. They are literally causing these symptoms in a person to mimic these disorders. Bro, that shit is elaborate as fuck what they're doing. So it's going to get to the point sooner or later that the damage that they're causing worldwide with 5G, with EMF radiation, with radio frequency radiation. So what we're going to see is schizophrenia, the number of schizophrenia rising. I'm talking about it's going to become a trending thing. Right now, how all of a sudden mental health is a big thing. Before Obama took office, I'm just going to show y'all, I'm just giving y'all an example how these people thwart and manipulate the science based on them wanting to fit their narrative. Before Obama got in the office, y'all could look this up. A man thinking he was a woman thinking he was a man, all of that shit was classified as a mental illness. It was. Go and look it up if you think I'm lying. Go and look it up. When Obama got in office, he reversed all that shit, rewrote the act and the bill to get rid of that shit, and he gave us gay marriage. I have nothing against people. I'm just showing y'all how they utilize this shit to benefit them. Because if if 20 years ago the same shit that's going on today was classified as a mental illness, how is it now acceptable and being pushed abroad now? Now, no, it's no longer a mental illness, and people who's discovering that they're targeting individuals are the people with the mental illness now. So they literally took the keys from the guards and gave them straight to the mental patients, and gave the used to be guards the mental jackets. This was the most elaborate fucking thing I have ever witnessed in my fucking life. And I'm not even lying. I'm not exaggerating with it or nothing. All people got to do is really go and research, ask the right questions when Googling and researching, especially about this schizophrenia shit. There's no test that could be done to say that this person is schizophrenia. It's nothing. It's all on what the psychiatrists think. Literally. It's all on what the psychiatrists think. So that's what it takes me back to that. So a man thinking that he's a woman, dressing up in a woman is totally fine. That's no longer a mental illness. But a person who believes they're being organized, stalked, mobbed, and harassed. Whoa, whoa, now you're crossing the line now. Now you're mentally ill. This is where we draw the line. You can't think people is following you. Yeah, but this guy over here, Frank, could go ahead and turn it to Frida with his broad ass shoulders and his mustache and put on a skirt, and we could throw parades for them and celebrate them and give them fucking holidays and give them their own community that you can't talk about and give them their own fucking flag. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. These people really, bro. It's crazy when you think about it. It's crazy the shit that's really going on in the world. It is crazy. It's crazy. Like I said, schizophrenia can't nobody convince me different because I'm using their words against them. I'm using their words against them. I'm not making them say this shit. I didn't type this shit in Google. I'm not responsible for this. And let's just go back for whoever in attendance. Let's see. How, let me see. How do you, let me see. You Oh no, here we go. Let's see this. Can can doctors? This is one that I was asking. For those who's new and just watching this right here, this is the simplest form or the simplest thing that I could give y'all so y'all can see that it's all bullshit. There's no single test for schizophrenia, and the condition is usually diagnosed after assessment. You see what I'm saying? So they only diagnose you after you've been seen by a psychiatrist. Now, when you see the principles or the groundwork laid before them to like what makes the psychiatrist say, okay, yeah, well, this person is diagnosed, it's literally your belief system. It's what make them say that you're a paranoid schizophrenia. And as I stated, I just proved that. It said there's no single test for schizophrenia, and the condition is usually diagnosed after assessment by a specialist in mental health. So they're saying that you're usually diagnosed after you go and see a psychiatrist. So there's nothing else that we could confirm or use to say that you're schizophrenia. You're suffering from schizophrenia, but we're gonna send you in here to talk to this expert, and whatever he say is Bible. So if you go in here, you get assessed by this psychiatrist, and he determined that you're a schizophrenic, then that's the best we got to prove that schizophrenia is real. Get the fuck out of here. That's not proving nothing. That's one weird ass nigga word compared to mine and what I know goes on in my real life. Who is he to tell me that I'm not being followed and stalked? Who is he to tell me that? As if he's with me in my day-to-day life. I'm only gonna see this guy for this 30-minute session. And in this 30-minute session, he determined that I was a schizophrenic because I say I was being followed and I felt this way for more than 6 months. No, I'm not falling for that shit. Now, when you go down and start clicking on more of this, how do doctors confirm schizophrenia? At least one of the symptoms must be delusions, hallucinations, or disorganized speech. I just want to look up the definition of disorganized speech, because if you could say someone is mentally ill by disorganized speech, let me get their terms on what disorganized speech is, because I just got to see what they're saying it is. I've really got to see this, because disorganized speech, I got to see that because I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding what that means. Let me see. Disorganized speech is when someone's speech is filled with run-on sentences, jumbled or incoherent words or concepts that do not go together, or awkward phrasing. When this happens, the person speaking is often difficult to follow or understand. Well, I could kind of see that and understand that. But let's look at signs of repetition. Uh-oh. Repetition. So you mean to tell me signs of disorganized speech is repetition, speaking fast, rapid changes in tempo and volume of speech. Oh Lord, I've been doing that this whole time. So I guess I'm fucking schizophrenic because I'm speeding up my talk and I'm talking loud. It's that easy to label somebody with a mental illness. I fit all three. I've repeated myself a few times of this. Speaking very fast, I do that often. I'm a fast speaker. Rapid changes in tempo and volume of speech. Oh shit, frequent loose associations in speech, putting ideas together that are irrelevant. Lack of access of words. Frequent loose association in speech, being very what the fuck? It's organized speech when someone's speech is filled with one or second and not together, awkward phrase. When this happens, the person speaking is often difficult to follow or understand. There are many reasons someone may have disorganized speech, including mental illness, substance use, or brain injury. What's the other one said? It was another one. Well, Kamala Harris do this a lot, word salads, making illogical connections, or a statement describing things in bizarre ways with new or irrelevant words, saying sounds or words that do not make sense, speaking in tangents, derailment of thoughts. You got to be fucking shitting me. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. You got to be fucking shitting me, bro. They can't be serious about this shit. They can't be. They can't be. Let's see what this one says. See, this is what I'm saying because they're going against their own science right here to fit their narrative. Schizophrenia is typically diagnosed in the late teen years to early 30s and tends to emerge earlier in males, late adolescence, early 20s, than females, early 20s, early 30s. More subtle changes in cognition and social relationships may precede the actual diagnosis, often by years. So, how is it that they're labeling people in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s who speak out against organized stalking, electronic torture? How are y'all diagnosing these people as schizophrenia when y'all own science say that it really don't happen above the age of 30? But I guess that they're going to change this in a very near future as we see the cases of quote unquote schizophrenia on a rise. I'm talking about at a rapid rate. Okay. Anyway, what comes first in schizophrenia? Let's just see. Immortal phrases. Friends and family might not notice strange behavior. You might want to be alone much more time and may start to talk only about certain topics. See, this is how well the program is designed. This goes to show that the program is literally designed to make you look like a schizophrenic. Just think about it. Read it. In the first prodromal phase, friends and family might notice strange behavior. You already know the distrust that gets sold if you're a targeted individual from the betrayals, from the friends they have work against you. So, of course, it's going to alter your behavior around these people because there's no more trust around them. It's no more trust. So, it's so smart of them to attack us the way that they're doing it because they get friends and family to betray us. So, of course, by nature, we're going to act different around them. Our behavior is not going to be the same. So before they started working with the program, it probably used to be all laughs, shits and giggles. We used to go out, have fun, go to the club. But once they became or started working for the other side and they're showing their true colors, gaslight, doing all the common tactics that we know that they're trained to do, of course the behavior but now they're working with the program, so now they can report the behavior. Well, yeah, he acting strange, but the whole time they know that they're working for the ops to make you look strange. She's and it's gonna hurt more because it's family who said that yeah, his behavior changed, this, that, the third. He became very, very what isolated by himself and so on and so forth. He just kept talking about he was being targeted, being followed and things. Do y'all see how easy it is to paint the narrative when these people control the pieces of the game that's being played? Who does what, who says what, how they act towards you? Bro, they were fucking cooking when they came up with this program. I'm talking about fucking brilliant, bro. I'm not lying. You might want to be alone much of the time and may start to see, but that's the social isolation in the program. This is what the program makes you want to do. It makes you want to be alone because you can't trust everybody. Everybody already betrayed you. They just showed their hands, and we experienced that firsthand. So for someone who's experiencing it, to allow a strange motherfucker to tell you that you're paranoid schizophrenic because of how you're now acting, when really I'm only acting this way, it's because you motherfuckers is acting weird. So I'm supposed to ignore it and eat it and bury it and grin and continue to act as if nothing is normal. But that's how you beat it. That's literally, they're giving you the blueprint though. But us being emotional people and knowing that it's our family or something, it's hard to. So really what we have to do is just not acknowledge the gang stalking and go around and act as normal as possible and let them know that, well, I don't see that. You will have to act as though that you don't know that they're against you. You would have to be just as fake as they are. It's like is like spy games. They're spying on you, so you'll have to know how to. If you ever seen one of them James Bond movie when he bumped into somebody like what's his name? Was it Lockjaw or one of them other agents or whatever? And they could be at the poker table at James Bond, and the enemy know that they going back and forth, but the people at the poker table with them don't realize that. You got to be able to master your emotions and keep your composures to that level. If not, then they're going to be able to utilize these things that I'm reading right now to paint this picture about you. But when really it's them acting weird that's causing you to self-isolate or not want to be around them, it's them targeting us with the program that make us talk about the program. Bro, they were fucking geniuses when they cooked this up, such as religion. Oh, let me read this in full because it's getting crazy now. It's saying that you might want to be alone much of the time and may start to talk only about certain topics, such as religion, the government, or particular public figures. This phase can last for weeks to years. So, so I'm gonna interpret that as so when you become woke and you understand that religion is bullshit, the government is bullshit, and politicians is bullshit, and once you're woke, you can't unsee it. It's hard to ignore these things. Basically, that's what they're saying. When this person wake up and realize that all this shit is corrupt, and they just keep talking about how corrupt it is, then they schizophrenic. You got to watch people like that who only talks about that because, in a sense, it's like them saying, "Don't try to wake." Don't try to wake people up. Don't try to shine light on the bullshit that's going on in the world. So when you see people doing that, don't look at it as a good thing. Look at it as a bad thing. Those people are suffering from mental illness. Remember, we told y'all disorganized speech. The first thing that was listed on there was repetition. So if these people are talking about the same things, talking about these public figures, talking about the government, talking about religions, you need to watch those type of people. That's crazy, bro. The mind games they're playing. It's really crazy. It's crazy. Bro, this is crazy because delusions. See, when they say delusions, bro, it's crazy because delusions, again, it goes off of your beliefs. Me believing that I'm being followed, me believing that I'm a victim of Havana syndrome. This is what they mean by delusions. Hallucinations. Hallucinations to them is them hearing voices, which we all know is a real technology that has been deployed, that's being deployed right now on innocent civilians. So it's like they really cover all bases. Disorganized thinking, we already know that. Lack of motivation that comes with the program because, like, not to bring up Young Steel or me, because I said it for this matter too, how I wasn't going to get out there and keep looking for a job on the simple fact to just keep getting dragged in circles. The last few jobs I even posted on YouTube that I went to go apply for, passed the drug test, passed everything. They said that I passed the background test. This happened. This happened on 3 jobs. On the third job with Amazon, these motherfuckers called me. The same company called me in for an interview. They told me I ain't get the job. The same company, I ain't apply no more after that. A couple of weeks later, called me for another interview. My dumb ass ain't catching on to it yet. I go back up there to the same place for another interview after they already denied me last week, and I get denied again for it, and I ain't even apply again. My dumb ass just wanted the job and wanted to work at Amazon, but I voiced the opinion they knew I wanted to work at Amazon, so they was just reeling me along, reeling me along. The third time they called me for the job, I'd have cussed them out. Bitch, y'all ain't gonna keep playing with me. Fuck y'all and Amazon. I ain't coming up there for no type of interview. So it do takes away a person motivation because you get you get some people, not all, but it discourages you from continuing to go out here and go through the same thing. That's the same thing like with the two jobs I was just speaking on. They hired me, said I passed the criminal background, and fired me a day before I started going to work and called me and said something popped up on my background. And come to find out, it wasn't even the worst of the charges. Instead of them saying, well, we see that you got a concealed weapons on your record from 8 years ago, which was a misdemeanor, they took it all the way to 2007 and said, oh, well, you got a trespassing charge, so we can't hire you for that. For trespassing in the projects, bitch? The fuck? So you overlooked the gun charge and took it way back to 2007 on the trespassing charge? Are you fucking shitting me? So that's where the lack of motivation comes. Now the slow movement, I don't know if that's coming from the technology. You know, I heard a lot of people saying that they wake up, their buses be sore, and yada yada yada, so on and so forth. Changing sleep patterns. We all know about sleep deprivation in the program. So for these people to put every tactic that they utilize against us up here, to utilize that, bro, to utilize the tactics that they know, like what I'm saying is the effects of the technology, they know that it cost all this. They know that the effects of the technology and what they're doing to us cost all of this. But they didn't mimic, they didn't create it. They created schizophrenia, literally, through technology. This is what I'm determining. They discovered it. I mean, they created schizophrenia through use of this technology. Changing sleeping patterns. Of course, we all know the sleep deprivation. We all know this. These people are evil fucking geniuses, bro. What are the four A's of schizophrenia? Yeah, I don't know. You tell me. Virtually present throughout the mind. Knowing autism and affect the blind. Delusion is regarded as one of the accessory symptoms because it is episodic in the course of schizophrenia. Schizophrenia. So, what are the warning signs before schizophrenia? With schizophrenia, you may seem eccentric, unmotivated, emotionless, and elusive to others. What are uncommon signs of schizophrenia? Abnormal motor and disorganized behavior. Other lesser known signs of schizophrenia that can make it difficult to start and complete tasks. Motor symptoms affect movement and balance, resulting in jerky, slow, or unusual move. Oh, Lord, there go the muscle spasms. This goes back to what I just said. They literally created this technology to mimic schizophrenia. So you mean to tell me, resulting in jerky, slow, or unusual movements and muscle spasms. So this falls under the category of abnormal motor and disorganized behavior or other lesser known signs of schizophrenia. You cannot make this shit up, bro. Jesus. That is tough. That is tough. So, what would they say? What would they say if we were to stop talking about gang stalking at all? If we were to just completely stop talking about it, how would they label us as schizophrenia now? Let's just use me as an example. So if I was to stop talking about this whole phenomenon of gang stalking, then by me having muscle spasms and resulting in jerky and slow and unusual movements and muscle spasms, I still would be looked at as a schizophrenia because this would be classified as abnormal motor and disorganized behavior. Is that what I'm understanding? I gotta be comprehending that completely wrong. I have to be. It's no way. It's no way. I'm gonna have to reread that. What is the biggest symptoms? Auditorial hallucinations. It's so crazy that we know that this technology exists. I mean, I just don't even know. I mean, it's crazy because you have the news articles, tabloids, media have spoke about this. It's just crazy. I just want to pull up an article right quick. Let me see if I can find it. All right, let me do it by announcers because I just want to pull up something right quick. Here we go, right here. One article. No, I was going to stumble upon one. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. Why is this never a topic when it comes to people hearing voices in their head when we already know how the government is, the military is, things of this nature? I mean, I just don't understand. If articles like this is so easy to find and you have media and things like that reporting on it, why is it never brought up when it comes to people hearing voices in their head in the modern day time? The microwave scream inside your skull. The U.S. military bankrolled early development of a non lethal microwave weapon that creates sound inside your head. But in the end, the gadget may just as likely to wind up in shopping malls as on battlegrounds, as I report in New Scientist. The project is known as Medusa. They love those Greek mythology motherfuckers as well. So I don't know what's up with that. A contrived acronym for whatever they're saying it is. Let's do it. Thrive from mob exercise attorney use silent audio, and it should not be confused with long-range acoustic devices. Similar gadgets would simply project sound. This one uses the so-called microwave auditorial effect. A beam of microwaves is turned into sound by the interaction with your head. Nobody else can hear it unless they are in the beam as well. The effect has long been a laboratory curiosity with no application, but over the years, the military has been intrigued. The idea dubbed the telepathic ray gun was mentioned in 1998 U.S. Army study, which turned up in a recent Freedom of Information Act document dump. 5 years later, the Navy decided to put some R&D dollars into the project. Now, as I know on the New Sciences website, Dr. Lab said Sandovnik, I think I said that right, Sadovnik of the Sierra Nevada Corporation has provided more details. There are health risks, he notes, but the biggest issues from the microwave weapon is not the radiation, is the risk of brain damage. This is why I was telling y'all. I spoke about the brain damage earlier. When you go and get a MRI or a CAT scan, and you never have no medical history of having a brain damage or brain contusions or any of that nature, this is what it causes. The microwave, when you're being pulsed in your head, it causes concussion like symptoms. So if you never had a head injury, no type of head trauma in your life, and you was to go and get a CAT scan, it would show literally that the doctor would be like, well, I thought you never had a concussion, because your brain would be showing that you did have a concussion the whole time you're getting hit with microwave technology. A person do not develop brain trauma just to develop brain trauma, especially if you did not hit your head or you wasn't in an accident or nothing like this. This is solely coming from the technology. The technology itself causes brain damage. So a lot of targeted individuals, when we get in our older ages, if we survive and stuff, we're going to be suffering from things like Alzheimer's, dementia, or brain tumors, or things like that because of the technology that we're being with. And this leads all the way back to the medical field. They're all in cahoots because you have people on the hand creating this technology for evil, nothing of it for good. And then you have the medical field who's subcontracting and be like, well, shit, we gonna come up with some medicine to help fix it. And really, it's basically like a placebo that they're giving you or something to get hooked. Because really, all they gotta do is give you the fucking pill, and for them not to hit you with it until they tell you to take the pill when you wake up at 6 a.m., take another one at 4 a.m. That they already got the timestamps when they hit you with the technology and when not. Because if they know that you're supposed to take the medicine at 6 a.m., then they know not to even hit you with the voice of God between 6 a.m. until 4 hours later when the drug wear off. Then they gonna hit you, and then you're gonna automatically think in your head, well, let me go ahead and take another pill. You see how they could keep you stuck in the loop. This is me just thinking. Now, if I could think that, what do you think people with who sit in war rooms, who practice this shit, who do this shit for a living could think of? I just thought of that on the fly. And you got people really organizing against us who really plan, plot, strategize, and do all this shit against us. So you mean to tell me that none of this is being brought up in no schizophrenic case or none of that? It's just us hearing voices out of the blue. Not me particularly, because I don't suffer from that, but I'm just speaking for those who are going through this. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Okay, so the brain damage from the high intensity shock wave created by the microwave pulse. Clearly, much more research is needed on this effect at the sort of power levels that Dr. Sadovnik is proposing. But if does prove hazardous, that does not mean an end to weapons research in this area. A device that delivered a lethal shockwave inside the target skull might make an effective death ray. So you see what I'm saying? So yeah, just because it might fuck them up too much and it's really not doing what we want them to do, we not gonna scrap the idea because we could just turn that bitch into a death ray. So we intended to use it for this, the being thoughts. But if that's too much for them and their brain can't take it, fuck it. We gonna turn it into a killing machine. That's what the fuck they saying, bro. That shit's sick, bro. That shit's sick. Also mixed in. Tree suggested that instead of being used at a high power to create intolerable noise, it might be used at low power to produce a whisper that was too quiet to perceive consciously, but might be able to subconsciously influence someone. So really, they're just talking about, yeah, this is the thought plant. This is the thought plant, planting thoughts in your head to subconsciously influence you to do something that you might never would have did or don't want to do, or it's all against. They're telling you right now, this is not nothing that I'm making up. This is what they're created. You can go find the apparatuses for it. You can go find a patent for it, the patent numbers for it, when it was patent, who it was patent by. All of this shit is real. So you got to think about it. If they know that this is causing brain damage and they need to, in order to submit a patent, to get the patent approved, you have to prove that the technology worked. And just ask yourself this: who the fuck is signing up voluntarily to get their brain and their fucking noodle microwave? Who the fuck is doing that? Nobody. So you have to create these loopholes where you create these guinea pigs. We have to test this shit out on somebody. Our own soldiers, the civilian, the population race is gonna get tested on somebody, and ain't nobody gonna volunteer. Nerve gorilla, you don't believe it's real? Go volunteer for the shit. Then you want to do what's right. You want to save people and do all that. Go volunteer for it. Go sign up for it. Tell them, yeah, you could try this technology on me. Then get back to the TI community and let us know what you think about it, buddy. That's what you do. U.S. Army Voice to Skull page. While the effectiveness of subliminal persuasion is dubious, I can see there might be some organizations interested in its capability. And if it doesn't work, you can always point the thing at birds. They seem to be highly sensitive to microwave audio, so it might be used to scare flocks away from wind farms or shoot pigeons from city streets. And this is where we get this from, because everybody talk about something. This is goes to show though how my brain operate. And then we had these fake ass um um bird experts talking about some larger predator birds. Right here. Where all us was suggesting that this was microwaves and EMF radiation. The whole world, they even threw fake scientists up here and saying no. What caused this was a bigger bird um, swooping down on the crowd and all the birds crashed into each other. That's what caused this. It wasn't 5G. It wasn't microwave technology. It wasn't none of that. It was one bird that caused all of this. But shut the fuck up.
It doesn't take a giant leap. It doesn't take uncommon bravery, nor does it take...
You may have seen that dramatic video of hundreds of birds literally falling from the sky into a neighborhood. What on earth was going on?
It's perfectly calm when suddenly this happens. A flock of black birds swirl to the ground. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. Hundreds of the birds appear like a...
Because we never seen it before. It's like something you never seen before. No, motherfucker. It is something we never seen before.
Plume of black smoke. A moment later, many of them fly off, but lots are killed on impact. The video was caught on a surveillance camera in Mexico. So what's going on here? There is speculation the birds were hit by toxic fumes or electrocuted. But this expert says they were likely under attack by a predator.
My best guess is this is a predator. This is a hawk or a falcon that's come into the flock.
Whatever the cause, it's...
Bro, do you see what I'm saying, bro? They play us for fucking stupid. He said that it was a predator. It was a hawk. And that's thousands of fucking birds crashing into the ground. And this motherfucker, this is how they cover up stories. This is the propaganda and the media right here. Bro, who the fuck is going to believe one fucking hawk did this to thousands of birds? Look at the impact on how the birds hit the ground. No, they were blasted out of the fucking sky. They were incapacitated.
Whatever the cause, it's pretty amazing.
That it is.
And she just smiling, talking about something that it is. They fucking evil, bro. They're evil. There's nothing else to say about them. They're evil. And they think that we're too dumb to use our fucking brain and figure out what's going on. They even told you in this joke. I can see there might be some organizations interested in this capability. And if that doesn't work, you can always point the thing at birds. I mean, they telling us what's going on. Or shoot pigeons from city streets. Come on, bro. And then that happened, and they blame it on one fucking hawk. Okay. Like I said, everything is misinformation. All this shit right here that they pump out is propaganda. Schizophrenia is a false fucking made up thing through use of technology. Those are facts. There's no proof that schizophrenia is a real fucking thing. There's no way to determine if a person has schizophrenia. It's only what the psychiatrist think and what he assess you as having. And that's solely based on your beliefs and the things that you talk about. That's what it is. So if we were just regular Joes up here, we could be arguing, going back and forth, this, that, and the third. A motherfucker like Nerve Gorilla wouldn't care about shit like that. But the minute we say, oh, we target individuals, we been doing this, we could literally get on this bitch and talk about anything, and the internet will love it up. They'll eat it up. But the minute we get up here and talk about targeted individuals, oh, here go Nerve Gorilla and other weirdos in the chat, acting like they doing a good service. Bitch, you working. You the dumbest motherfucker. You classify yourself as a nerd. You the stupidest motherfucking nerd I know, or you're a certified connected to some type of law enforcement. You are, or some type of scientific community, bitch. Or you probably a motherfucker who operate the technology. You seem pretty tech savvy, bitch. I ain't gonna keep playing these games with y'all. Like I said, you cannot prove schizophrenia is real while you're around here tossing that word up. Prove it. Prove that it's real. I mean, you labeling us that. So as you stated in your video, the burden of proof is on you to prove that we're schizophrenic? Nerve gorilla. Can you do that? I'm pretty sure you're going to watch this. Can you do that, Nerve? Can you prove with 100% certainty that schizophrenia is a real thing? Can you prove it? Can the scientist who's coming up with it prove that it's a real thing? How would they go about proving it? By giving an assessment to a psychiatrist? There's no blood work that could be done. There's no genes that you could dig out of us to say that it's real. It's none of that. It's based solely on some alleged specialist fucking word about. Y'all are weird with this. Y'all think people are too dumb to figure out what's going on. No, y'all have us fucked up. This is why we're targeted. This is why people like me is targeted, because y'all hate motherfuckers like me to speak about shit like this and to point out the bullshit. To point out the bullshit. I don't got to get up here and give out false information. I'm just asking the simple questions. The simple questions. I mean, this is what they're saying. This is what the experts saying. Huh? Of course, there's no single test for schizophrenia. The condition is usually diagnosed after assessment. The condition is usually diagnosed after assessment. Well, that's not how AIDS work. That's not how cancer work. That's not how none of these diseases that we really know, COVID, the bird flu. I mean, you just name it. Any type of those diseases, we don't have to go through assessment. It's going to be blood work done, cotton swabs taken out, DNA taken, tests ran in the lab, and then they'll be able to determine it. Not from me sitting down and talking to someone that y'all classify as a specialist. No, that ain't how it works. That ain't how it works. So if that's the case, mental health been around as long as humanity did. Where did all this? I just want to say, when was mental health a thing? Let me see if I can find that. When did mental health become a thing? Let's see. In 1945, was established in 91 increase of the importance of mental health awareness in American lives and to celebrate recovery from mental illness. Let me see. Let me see. I'm just brainstorming here. Okay, so coincidentally, 4 years after Operation Paperclip, when all of these Nazi Germans came to the United States, 4 years, y'all, after this happened, mental health was born. That's strange. Let me see. Operation Paperclip was a secret United States intelligence program in which more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians were taken from the former Nazi Germany to the U.S. for government employment after the end of World War III in Europe between 1945 and 1959. Okay. So that's when all the propaganda really started over here in the United States. Between these years right here, between the years of Operation Paperclip. That's pretty strange. That's pretty strange. Let's see. That's pretty strange. When was, let me see. Hmm. This resulted after the prayer competing theories, those that pathologically homosexuality and those that viewed it as normal. And that was to explain how the sin came about the paper reviews. So perspective, placement of homosexuality, as well as alternative theories that eventually led to the removal of against homosexual. The paper concludes that the discussion of social culture aftermath in 1973, the possible form of the regular technology of homosexuality throughout modern history. There's a pathology. I'm gonna do more research on this part because this is off a little bit of what I was saying, but I just thought about it and see if I could break that article up. But I'm gonna do a video on this as well, though. Hopefully, I don't get a strike for this, so it probably go on my backup channel for this right here, as well as this video right here. This is gonna go on my backup channel because I know the medical misinformation is coming, which really I didn't give any type of medical misinformation. I just questioned the things that I see in front of me. That's all I did. So for the most part, for people out there still thinking that mental health isn't a fucking scam, then I really don't know what to tell you because these people gave us this shit. They created it. They created it, literally, through the use of technology and through the use of gaslight and psychological warfare. Those are the late teens, early teens, let's see what else I can find about schizophrenia. Hmm. These people is full of shit though. How fast is Let me see. Yeah, look, because I want to know because I'm getting worried now because my muscle spasms, so I know I'm schizophrenic now. Jeez. I talk fast, so I got to be schizophrenic. I question things and I talk about the government. I talk about religion. So I guess I am fucking schizophrenic. Yeah, right. So now schizophrenia may seem to come on suddenly. The condition takes years to develop in the early prodromal phases. Symptoms how is you see them in the first phase. Mm. Do schizophrenics talk to themselves? We all talk to ourselves. What the fuck is you talking about? What? I don't know about that. I don't have no hallucinations. I don't know nobody who hallucinate unless they on some type of fucking drugs. Let's see. What is the difference between psychosis and schizophrenia? Schizophrenia is a mental health condition that affects how a person behaves, thinks, and feels. Psychosis refers to a collection of symptoms that affect the mind and cause a loss of grasp of reality. Psychosis is a common symptom of Uh, what? How the fuck would they even ask this? Like estimated 7 voices. One, these voices can call your name, argue with you, threaten you, come from inside of your head or from outside sources and can begin suddenly as well as it grows stronger over time. Them people is crazy, bro. This shit is wild. Let's see what they're saying. Do we have any solid evidence of clinical utility about the pathogenesis diagnosis of schizophrenia? And most psychiatric practice made largely bad listed symptoms with references to subjective arbitrary operational lies criteria. This diagnosis provides some rational for management. Objective diagnostic and therapeutic tests are much more desirable, provided they are reliable, measured, and interpreted. Definite advances have been made now understanding schizophrenia in recent decades, but there has been little consideration of how this information could be used in clinical practice. We review here a potential utility of the strongest and best replicated risk factors for manifestation of schizophrenia within clinical, epidemiological, cognitive, blood, I hope I say that right, biomarker, and neuroimaging domains. We place particular emphasis on the sensitivity, specificity, and predictive power of pathophysiological indices for making a diagnosis, establishing an early diagnosis, and predicted treatment response to schizophrenia. We conclude that the liberal measures currently available have the potential to increase the rigor or clinical assessment of schizophrenia. We propose that the time has come to more fully evaluate these and other well-replicated anomalies as objective potential diagnosis and prognostic guides, and to steer future clinical, therapeutic, and nosological. I think that's what they say. Research in these directions. Yes, psychiatric practice. Blase, but in the next 100 years or so, schizophrenia was first described, family name, and diagnostic criteria, and may have been redefined and renamed in essential names. Psychiatrists will now on the patient description and symptoms, mental examination, and behavior observation in line with categories listed as DSM or IV and ICD-10. And both names was in presence of Schneider's first-ranked symptoms. FRS is usually significant to make schizophrenia, blah, 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 whole bunch of bullshit. That's all it is, a whole bunch of bullshit. I just want to know, how did they come up with the term schizophrenia and what makes them say that it's real? I don't know. Let me see what you're saying. I took offense to this comment, boy, as soon as I read it. Let me see what you're saying. If you know I can scroll up, let me see. If you don't know, I can teach you. Let me see. Please say. And so the guy on his carcass, there you go. There's a scientific paper. Okay, so what's your double outcome? You ain't getting my number, weirdo. James to the Matthew. Church James to the Matthew. He is considered the first schizophrenic. No, I want. Oh, okay. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and pull him up now because I want to see what year was this. James Tilly Matthews. I think I see him too. I think I know exactly who you're talking about. He was like some geeky white guy with glasses, and he talked really crazy. I think I actually looked at that documentary, to be honest. Yeah, he talks so wow. I believe that's him. Let me see. I just want to see what he's saying. Oh nah, this ain't him. I don't know what the fuck that guy is. I said, well, he was not descendant who was committed to the Bethlehem Royal Hospital. Let's just read Wikipedia on him right quick. What's it, man? Bethlehem Royal. 1797, development typically the charges of the House of Commons in Great Britain. These delusions were documented in the 1810 book of the man is believed that a group of spies were using an heirloom to secretly torment him from a distance. Modern historians consider Matthews to be the first fully documented case of schizophrenia. And who was acquainted with such and such, Williams made an effort to meditation which failed, whereupon Matthews took the lead. He gained the trust of the French government for a short time. Blah, blah. Matthew is fully under suspicion in the Grand Association. And also, the suspect of being a double agent, he was arrested in prison 3 years. I'm gonna have to dig more into this, so I'm gonna read up on this tonight. I'm gonna bookmark this, and I'll actually make a video about it and give my thoughts on what I think about Mr. James Tilly Matthews. Let me bookmark that. Let me get back to reading your comments. Let's see what you were saying, because I'm always up for a good old educational challenge. It's not going to change my mind on anything because I understand what's going on. But let's see, you were saying a lot. You should be looking at the scientific papers and real books of schizophrenia, not Google searches. I hate to say random websites are not reliable as science. For one thing, the same thing comes from the same type of people, whether it's in the book, whether it's on the internet. The same people do it. We're in a digital world now, so the books are dying out right about now. So the same thing you find in books, you can find on the internet. So I'm not trying to hear that the information in books is more real than the information on the internet. For one thing, you're not going to even convince me of that, but okay. But okay. Let's finish reading comments. Schizophrenic. Nobody's feeling operation. What's your number? I'll call you and I get my number. There you go. That's the size of people. And let's see if you can figure out how to download it. Is this Nerve Gorilla? You got to be someone from Nerve Gorilla camp. If you don't know, I can teach you. Yeah. Patients showed up to the hospital saying crazy things. They want to help people suffering. Created it. Patients showed up. I talk faster than you. I'm not schizophrenic. I talk about the government. I talk about privacy and security. I'm not schizophrenic. I talk about government. I'm not schizophrenic. I've been streaming a new 2023 book, Schizophrenia Call, or Schizophrenia Call. A lot of the other man. Have you read a full book? You're very condescending. You're a funny guy. I like you. Minnesota Gun Honest Caucus. I like you. Uncensored Edition. I like you, guy. I will give you access to my server. No, I don't want anything to do with your server. No, thank you. That means split mind, but the name is meant to describe the split from reality and experience on the episodes of psychosis as well as changing the thoughts and emotions. What website want to know about prize for proving anything? None. Science is now the progress of human knowledge. We need to submit a real sensitive view. That's how it goes. Yes, I am Nerve. Yeah, I figured you were Nerve. I figured, could you talk like him? Nerve, nothing you say makes sense, my boy. Nothing you say makes sense, my boy. Nothing you say makes sense. There's no scientific proof to prove that schizophrenia is a real thing. There's nothing to prove that it's a real thing. It's absolutely nothing to prove it. Now you tell me what it is to prove it, Nerve. You tell me. Tell me, how do you go about proving it? Huh? So there you go. You're back there to resulting about the papers that you're seeing that prove schizophrenia is real, bro. I just don't understand, because well, how do it come about? What determines it? What determines it? What determines it? What determines it, Nerve? Just answer the question. What test could be done to determine that schizophrenia is real? What test can be done to prove that schizophrenia is a real thing? What test can be done? So are you smarter than Google? Are you smarter than the people that's posting this on Google? Because you're in here talking as though as if you are. So answer this. So if this is misinformation right here, Nerve? I just want to know. Let me see. Let me see if I can go back right quick. Is this misinformation, Nerve? So if you could see the screen, Nerve, could you break this down to me in layman's terms? Because I have a hard time, understanding because of my mental illness. Break this down. Tell me what this means. Or you're gonna say, oh, it's not real because it's on Google. You need to go pick up a book. What do this mean? Tell me, what do you get out of this? Matter of fact, specifically this highlighted part. Tell me, Nerve, the condition is usually diagnosed after assessment by a specialist in mental health. And more importantly, let me see, it was another one. So is this also wrong to be diagnosed with schizophrenia? A person must experience at least 2 symptoms regularly for at least 6 months. Schizophrenia can be hard to diagnose and it can mimic other mental illnesses. There aren't any tests for it. There aren't any tests for it. So is this misinformation? Nerve gorilla. No, they didn't believe my words. They hooked me up to an EKG, you smart guy. And they saying that I was having a potential heart attack, you smart guy. Do you need me to play that part for you? A EKG proved that I was having a potential heart attack. Do you need me to play that? Or let me guess, having a potential heart attack doesn't hurt. Answer the question, Irv. Do you need me to play the video for you so you can hear the doctor say that I was having a potential heart attack? So after I play that, here's another question I want you to answer, smart guy. So, do a potential heart attack hurt? Yeah, but doctors generally have to hear the words you say. They had me hooked up to an EKG. They could see that my heart rate was elevated. They could see that there was a potential heart attack risk there. So you mean to tell me you're making no sense. So you mean to tell me that a heart attack don't hurt, Nerve Gorilla? Have you ever had a heart attack? Have you ever had a heart attack? So are you saying that there's no pain in having a potential heart attack, Nerve Gorilla? You're switching the subject. Is there pain connected to having a potential heart attack? Yes or no, Nerve Gorilla? Nerve, why aren't you answering the questions? Why don't you answer you talking at me? You just said all this. Why aren't you answering the questions? You typed in so much here. Now you can't say yes or no. Of course, you're changing the subject. Let me go ahead and ban this account. He can't, he done typed all this, y'all. Look at all this he done typed. He don't want to answer the question. He just posed the question to me about pain. Now he trying to trick me into getting on voice. Answer the question, nigga. You can't answer the question, bitch. You came here talking to me. You came on my motherfucking platform talking to me, cracker. The fuck is you talking about, nigga? You did all this motherfucking typing. Now I got your back against the wall. You don't want to answer. Shut the fuck up, nigga. You can't outsmart me or outwit me. You don't want to answer the question. Tell us, how could they prove that you have pain, bitch? Through an EKG? Through looking at the charts? By being able to tell that I was having a potential heart attack? Now, answer the question. Do it hurt when you have a potential heart attack, motherfucker? Have you ever had one? So there's no pain connected to a slight heart attack? Exactly. Get the fuck out of here. You think you're going to trick me into getting on the phone with your weird ass? Ban user and delete their comment. Come back with another motherfucking profile, bitch. You think you gonna come on here dictating something? Take your ass to your platform, nigga. You couldn't even answer a simple question. You come in here asking me 30 motherfucking questions. Think that you proved a point or changed my mind. I put your back against the wall. You ain't know what to say. It was all talk to me on the phone then. No, bitch, answer the question. Then I consider it. Is pain connected to a heart attack? Yes or no? Well, talk to me on the phone. You can't even answer the question. You just had so much to say, Nerve. You just had so much to fucking say. You want to hear my voice. You want to get on the phone. Fuck you. The fuck I'm going to talk to your weirdo ass for? You weird ass nigga. Like I said, schizophrenia is fake. It can't be proven. He's talking about something. Go back and look at the first patient. That don't prove nothing. motherfucker. Get off my page, weird ass nigga. For you to be some weird, random, normal guy, you dedicate so much time into people you don't know. I'm not even sure what's wrong with weird. So what would you label that? What type of mental illness would you label that, Derv Gorilla, for you to waste your time with a group of individuals whom you don't like? You dedicated 2 years of your life trying to stop a movement that you're not big enough to fucking stop. What would you call that, Nerve? What would you call it, Nerve? You saying that you're helping people and you haven't helped one individual. You just gaslight and come in here and toss around them dumbass words and them weird ass, fake ass case studies that mean absolutely nothing. I mean, really, you couldn't even answer a simple question, but you come in here loading up the chat with 30 plus questions. And then as soon as I get your back against the wall, bye, Google, goodbye, shut your ass up. Like I said, it's people like him, the weirdos in society. He wasted all his time coming in here doing all that weird shit. Get your ass up out of here. You can't prove that schizophrenia is a real thing. That case study don't prove schizophrenia is a real thing. You could go to many people. You could go on Google. You could look up. You could research plenty ways on how to determine if schizophrenia is a real thing. There's no case study for that. Go find me a case study on that. There's no blood work that could be done. I mean, it's telling you. So is this misinformation, Nerve? You couldn't even answer the question. You can't even answer the question. It's really, someone put this here. And it's plenty more of shit up here just like this. And you mean to tell me that this wrong, but you're right. Everything up here about this is wrong, but your ass is right. Nerve, beat it. Beat it, Nerve. Go home, Steve. Weirdo. Like I said, it's people like him that got society really fucked up. He think that he's doing some sort of good out here, challenging people who we say is mentally ill. So if you're coming over here to debate or to argue or to get on the phone with someone's mentally ill and to rant on and to call these people names and do all this, what do that make you? Here you are supposed to be a geek, is what you call yourself, a smart individual, but yet it's still you lower yourself all the way down here to go back and forth with the mentally ill. Sheesh. You're living a sad life, buddy. I mean, you got to be in your 50s, 60s, and you're on here playing fucking PlayStation games from 1994, dumb shit like that, bro. You are the epitome of a fucking loser, Nerve. You hear me? I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Let's just go and look at your page right quick. It's just crazy. It's really crazy. I'll get back to making this video. I just want to show y'all the type of weirdo that Nerve Gorilla is. Look at this grown-ass man page who think that he's saving the internet. He said the internet is his. Shut your weird ass up, goof ass. But just look at the videos. Just look at this geek-ass motherfucker. He's so normal. He possesses such a high intellect. Let me see. Where is that? You don't got it? Look at the shit he doing. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this content. Look at this grown ass man. Look at him. This is what he doing. This is what he doing. And he think he could come in here and tell me
connect
something.
two PlayStations to do multiplayer. But this
I've never done that with a PlayStation.
Listen to his voice. Listen to him. This nigga 60-some years old. Yeah, this is connect two PlayStations to the Xbox to do that. Shut your weird
to
ass
do
up.
multiplayer. But this
I've never done that with a PlayStation 1.
Yep, this PlayStation version.
Yep. And you think you could come in here and talk to me? Shut your motherfucking ass up. Carry your stupid ass on, you simple bitch. Coming in here like you know something. Like you trying to change what I think and what I believe. Get your weird ass on. Go help the next motherfucker. I don't need your help. You can't even answer a simple question. You tuck your tail and got the fuck up out of here. You know I ain't getting on no voice chat with you, nigga. I barely voice chat with my fucking bitch, nigga. You think I'm gonna get on the phone with your weird motherfucking ass? Ain't nothing that me and you will ever have to discuss, nigga. Go call somebody else, weird ass. Goof ass white boy. Get your ass out here. Old ass, you the 60-year-old virgin. You on there with another weird ass nigga talking about playing old vintage fucking games and think you a fucking internet hero. Get your weird ass on. Yeah, but schizophrenic fake. All that shit bullshit. All they doing is running mind games. That's all they doing. Don't listen to people like Nerd Gorilla. Do what I do. Block them. Block his main account. He can't mention me. He can't at me or nothing. I got unlimited blocks, bitch. And I love to utilize them. Create another profile. Come back in here so I can send that junk to the gulag too. Goof ass. Come here trying to talk that gaslighting shit.